Hi there, this is Dr. Gia with all of Me Chiropractic in Shoreview, Minnesota. I'm coming to you today to tell you about chiropractic and let you know that I was in 8 car accidents from 2004 to 2006. So I had a few injuries and my mother did tell me to go to a chiropractor. And as any good daughter would, of course I ignored her advice. So 3 years later I began to have headaches, migraines, and back pain as I sat in my desk. I did end up in a chiropractic office and went through corrective care and now feel all the healing from that. So we're going to go over how this started, the injury, and what we can change in our bodies. So number one, we're going to go back to the beginning of the male and the female seed. So I'm going to do a little drawing here where you're going to see the male seed and you're also going to see the female seed. These two seeds join together, creating a bioelectrical effusion of life-creating awesomeness. And as this occurs and scientists are watching, we begin to see these cells develop and multiply, 4 into 16, 16 into 32, and we see that there's a clever cluster of cells that come together, sometimes resembling a blackberry, a mulberry, the mulberry mass, so that is the brain. So the first thing to develop in a baby, does anyone know what that is? What develops in a developing baby is the brain. The brain always comes first. So from the brain, a lot of people think that it's the heart is the first thing that develops first. The heart is just another organ. It's just a pump. Yes, it can kill you, but so can the liver, the pancreas, anything other organ. It just depends on how fast. But again, the brain comes first. The brain is the master controller of all things. The brain, you will see, has something called the notochord that starts to develop from it, otherwise known as the primitive notochord. And so we see that coming out of it, and then as the scientists watch, we start to see that one side of the brain begins to develop fibers, thousands and thousands and thousands of fibers that are coming out from the brain. And these little fibers are also fiber optics. Thousands and thousands of fibers and fiber optics coming out. So as we see those developing, we notice that little nerve bud endings are at the end of the fiber optics. And so the first little nerve bud, one of those that begins to develop, is the heart. And then we see kidneys develop. We also see the pancreas develop. And we also see different parts of our body starting to grow down into our hips and our knees and our kneecaps, the toes, the toenails, all these different areas of our body. It's absolutely an unbelievable thing. But as we go back up to the brain, we see that the brain is number one encased in bone. It's protected, it's encased in bone. So we see that this is fully covered in a big hard case. But there is a big hole at the bottom of this case, and that is where the body allows the spinal cord to come out. So as the spinal cord comes out and moves down, right from there, we see that the spinal cord is lucky enough to also be given masses of bone surrounding it and protecting it. So we see those moving down and protecting the spine. So the spine's protected, the brain is connected. These things are able to twist and turn and move and shift. And when they are out of position, we call that a subluxation. And so in chiropractic, what a subluxation is when the vertebra is moved out of its normal position. So now you can have a subluxation of your tooth, you can have a subluxation of a dislocated finger, you can have a subluxation of a vertebra. Now, if the subluxation happens in a vertebra, when we're twisting and moving, and depending on what you have done, whether it's carrying children, lying tile, wrenching on a car, it will begin to choke out the nerves. And so if the vertebra twists and moves and turns too fast, that's what happens. The nerves are choked out. The scientists have also seen that with the end of those nerve bud endings, that they could actually light up a light bulb from the end of it. The light bulb is lit up at 100% power down from the brain through the spinal cord and out to the nerves. So you see that light bulb lit up, 100% power from the brain through the spinal cord. Now, we have to ask, what do you want coming from your brain down through your spinal cord to your hands? Do you want 100% going into your hands? Do you want 100% going to your heart so it can beat? How about to your legs so you can walk and dance? And for me, kickbox. Do you want that 100%? Yes, we all want 100%. Now this should start to get a lot of thoughts going through your head, and the only way this can happen also is that we get that. Now, it's pretty straightforward, the goal of the chiropractic. What we try to do is just check each vertebra, making sure it's in as good a position as possible. And that's what we do. We take the pressure off the nerves, making sure the vertebrae are in good position. So again, like I said, this should start to get a lot of thoughts going through your head. And so I'm going to give you the example of your digestive system. So with our digestive system, do you think that there's a pill or some type of medicine that's lacking in the blood since you're born or something that would change the digestive system? We can only have full power to our digestive system if we have 100% power going from your brain to your spinal cord. If there's only 70%, that's where the problem lies. Now, we cannot change that with a pill or any other type of medicine. Now let's talk about carpal tunnel. If you have carpal tunnel, what does that mean? You can't pick up your coffee cup this morning. What does that mean? That means that you may only have 60% power going from your brain down into your wrist. How about sciatica? Possibly 80% power from the brain down into the glute muscle. How about if somebody suffers a traumatic body injury? They cannot move, they're paralytic. That means 0% power. So if we can damage ourselves enough to go from 0% to a perfect 100%, that means we can probably go anywhere in between. And so that's what chiropractic does, and that's what chiropractic is. We want to have 100% power. Yes, 100% power. So we are unlike any other medicine doctor, any other osteopath, any other dentistry. What we do is make sure that you are given the 100% power. Any other named symptom is just another tendinitis, a sciatica, a low back pain. Now, if you tell me that you hit your funny bone, you're definitely going to feel that, right? But if your left liver hurts, you're not going to feel that. You can't tell me that today your right kidney is sore. We only feel 10% of what's going on in our body. That's why it's so important. The other 90% we don't feel. Now, when we're thinking about all these different areas of our body, we're recognizing that people say a lot of the time, I feel good. Why would I go to a chiropractor? And in my eyes, that's absolutely irrelevant. It means nothing. So we only feel 10% about what's going on. And we want to know if you were to have a hip problem, your hip is beginning to grind down, and it becomes bone on bone, you're going to feel that. Believe me, you're going to feel that. Or what about if your tooth is digging out, decaying, and it hits the nerve? Believe me, you're also going to feel that. So how long ago should that tooth have been checked? Months ago? Yes, it should have been checked and taken care of months ago. Preventative care is the way to go, whether it's to see your chiropractor, the dentist, your medical doctor, or anyone of that area. Thank you for listening. We'll hope to see you soon.